Alright, so as we all know, Hollow Knight Silksong was announced to be releasing on September 4th. It was actually just announced a couple days ago for, I believe, exactly 2 weeks after that announcement date trailer, and a lot has happened since then in the wider world of indie games because this game, Hollow Knight Silksong, is so anticipated, has been so memed and talked about for so long that it is actually kind of causing some sort of refuge of or exodus, I guess, of other indie games moving out of that week or so period. And so I've got a list of over half a dozen games here that I want to go through and just kind of talk about this moment where a game as big, an indie game as big as Hollow Knight Silksong, got released so quickly that suddenly it has become an interesting moment of marketing for other indie games that are certainly lower profile than Hollow Knight Silksong, but we've got games here from games I've never heard of. It's someone very invested in the indie community, to games that I've been keeping an eye on for a long time, and they're all kind of moving and using this as a moment to get some eyes and conversation on their game in a really easy way, right? Is everyone's talking about Silksong. If you evoke Silksong in your marketing beats, then people are more likely to engage with it. And this is that moment for a lot of these developers. And so this is going to be talking about why this is happening, why these games are moving, and then also just highlighting these games that are going to be releasing a little bit later in September now. So I have here I have a Kotaku article that's got a list of a couple of games here. The article by Zach Zweisen, that's a fun name, says every game delayed by Silksong. Now, this came out yesterday, and it's not even fully updated. I have a couple more as of today that are also moving. So they list Demonschool, Eternal Lucis, Little Witch in the Woods, Clover Pit, Mega Bonk, and Baby Steps. And we'll get to all of those, but I actually woke up this morning to an email from Super Rare Games saying that Moros Protocol will move its release date to September 18th. I don't remember the day that it was supposed to be. Oh, originally due to release on the 4th of September. Okay, so that's the exact same day as Hollow Knight Silksong. But we're going to actually just take a look here at this trailer because the interesting thing about most of these games is that none of them are in the same genre as Hollow Knight Silksong. Here's Moros Protocol. I actually got a chance to see this in a hands-off demo from Super Rare a couple months ago, and it's pretty cool. I mean, look at this like voxel imagery here. The lighting's pretty cool. Quick FPS, kind of Doom inspired. You can see the little map up there. But I actually think this game looks pretty sick. But it moving out of the way of a game that is not in the same genre, as I'll be saying for basically all of these games, but is certainly going to be consuming indie conversation for, I mean, frankly, probably for all of September, but it's smarter to be 2 weeks away from Silksong, which is probably just going to be all that anyone's talking about, especially on that day, which is also interesting because there are a couple of other higher budget games coming out on that same day. We've got Hell Is Us coming from Nacon, and we have Bloober Team's Chronos, The New Dawn, coming out just, I think, the next day, maybe. So that window was already packed. Oh, and also the new Hot Shots Golf, Everybody's Golf Hot Shots is coming out then. It's a really weirdly busy period, but that's Moros Protocol. I actually think that does look pretty cool. So shout out to Pixel Rain, you made a pretty cool game here. And then we're just going to kind of be going through some of these announcement tweets from a lot of these devs, which are, putting out some sort of little wall of text thing to give people an update. Little Witch in the Woods moving from September 4th to September 15th. From Sunny Side Up Studios, they say, the past few years have seen us investing immense time and effort into making this game. Your faith in us, supporting early access, and your insistence in every aspect have kept us going till the day. Till this day? I don't know. We had finally announced with excitement the release date of the full version. However, shortly after announcement, we learned that Hollow Knight Silksong, a highly anticipated new title of a masterpiece in the gaming industry, is launching the same day. Silksong is a game we look up to with awe as developers and eagerly anticipate as players. Now, that's actually something that's interesting, and I think we might see this show up a little bit more in some of these future ones. But that also these indie devs are just excited for Silksong. Now, that's probably not as much of a deal as it like squashing their potential marketing or potential buzz, but they probably do want to play it. Though, you've got your game coming out in 2 weeks, you probably have some work to do. So that's Little Witch in the Woods. Actually, you know what? Let's pull up the trailer for that as well. just get a little bit of information about each of these games. This is another one that I actually had not heard of. So, Sunny Side Up Studios here. Oh, okay. Ooh, amazing pixel art. Oh, I love the little fox guy. Oh my gosh. I love the color palette. Yeah. Again, very different game, tonally and aesthetically, but getting out of the way. Wow, this this looks really cool. Okay, so you can build your little brewery, Witch Cauldron Brewery. Yeah, amazing pixel art. Holy crap! Wow, Sunny Side Up Studios, you guys are putting in the work. Look at this. Okay, that's very cool. Well, good luck to them. Oh, it is. Oh, early access already out. 3,000 very positive reviews. Okay, cool. Well, good luck to them on the full release there. And then we also have Panic Arcade putting out the game Clover Pit. Says due to Silksong, they can't wait to play it. They're launching just the day after Clover Pit, which I guess meant that that Clover Pit was going to release on September 3rd. They're moving the release date to September 26th, and luckily they have a trailer here. And this is a slot machine roguelike. It's got this sort of PS1 aesthetic. I've been following this one for a while. It's pretty cool. This team actually made last year. They made Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom, which I always thought was cool. I haven't gotten a chance to play it myself, but this is very different for them. And this again, very different kind of game. We are 3 games in here. None of them have been in the same genre. This might share kind of the 3D pixel art aesthetic of Moros Protocol, but genre-wise, very different games. So shout out to Panic Arcade and the fact that they are fans of Silksong. Now, this game I've never seen before. This is one they mentioned here, Mega Bonk. But let's get a little taste of what Mega Bonk is. I don't know the dev team name for this game. Oh, Vedanad. They say Mega Bonk is delayed due to Silksong, parentheses peak, announcing they are releasing on the same date, so I'm pushing back my launch a little bit. The new date is September 18th. Be there or be square. So we're seeing mostly a 2-week bump for a lot of these games. I think the earliest we've seen so far is September 15th and then through September 26th. But let's watch the trailer for Mega Bonk here. Oh my god. Okay, so it kind of looks maybe... Oh, okay, a little Vampire Survivors. A 3D sort of Vampire Survivors meets like a Warriors game, like a Muso. Oh, and there's a skateboarding skeleton. Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, having something that's horde based like a Muso or Vampire Survivors, but where you can like really have a good amount of movement, I think is actually kind of cool. So shout out to Vedanad and Megabonk. Again, very different kind of game. And then here's another one that I've been watching for a while. No, I'm Not a Human, coming from Trioscaz and Critical Reflex, the publisher. They say, hello, everyone. This was announced this morning, so that's why this is not necessarily up to date. You are probably aware that Hollow Knight Silksong will be launching on September 4th. This game is a shock to many indies out there, and while we're thankful to Team Cherry for giving us a 2-week notice, we understand everyone who decided to avoid September release date like wildfire. So with a heavy heart, we came to a conclusion that we will have no other choice but to announce that No, I'm Not a Human will launch on September 15th as previously intended. We wanted to use an excuse to use one of these game delayed templates. See you in 2 weeks and a half. So this one I just wanted to include because this is a very good example of the fact that this is actually a good moment of marketing. Critical Reflex is not delaying their game. They weren't releasing in the same week anyway as Silksong, but they're putting it out there. They're getting a good... I mean, this was just put out about 3 hours ago. It's getting a pretty good amount of engagement. That this is just a good moment for people to be like, look, get a little eyes on it, engage with the community in a fun way. Very easy to whip up, just like a wall of text here. And now, hopefully, a few more people are getting... becoming aware of No, I'm Not a Human, which, again, we're talking about genre. This game looks crazy and weird and freaky. Been watching this one for about a year. So you're like in this post-apocalyptic world where you can't go outside during the day, and so people only go out at night. It's got this really interesting animation style, and then during the daytime, people come into your house. And you have to decide whether or not to let them in based on like if they are like an alien, like a skinwalker or not. So you get this like looking through the peephole at them and their freaky ass sprites, including the sort of iconic one here from the cover. This freaky guy. But yeah, I've been looking for that game for a while. Looking forward to that game for a while, and it's not moving. But here's a chance to shout it out. And again, they are engaging with this sort of interesting cultural moment where indie games are getting a little bit of free marketing from the release of Silksong, which is an interesting sort of parallel. But two more here, or I guess three more. Baby Steps, again, another game that I've been watching for a while. I think this was announced over 2 years ago. This is coming from Bennett Foddy and Gabe Cuzzillo, who made Getting Over It and Ape Out. And they're making this game where you are this schlubby guy who has to control his steps and he can fall over very easily. And they have this, they moved their release date from, I think, September 8th to 23rd. But we can watch this little funny teaser here where they have created in the game a 3D model of Hornet from Silksong. And I think there's actually a little sound, though. Maybe I don't have the sound on. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, they created this. I mean, that's pretty cool little model they've got there. They whipped that up pretty quickly. And then the main character, Nate, just falling off of it, and the announcement that they're moving the release date. But that's a cool way to more diegetically within your game promote and show Silksong. And this is coming from Devolver. Actually, let's just check if Devolver put this out themselves, because that probably would have gotten a little more engagement. They actually... Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, they did. Okay. Oh, no, they just reposted. Okay. But yeah, I actually really like that. Me and my friends were talking about this yesterday. Baby Steps is a game I've been looking forward to. It seems very, very unique. And it's cool that they put a little bit of marketing. I wonder if they had to talk to Team Cherry about that. Not that I think they would necessarily care, but I don't really know. And then before we get to the last one, let's talk about this game here, which is Eternal Lucis. No, this is another one I haven't heard of. But let's read their thing before we look at a trailer here. As you know, we've been working on Eternal Lucis for more than 4 years, our most ambitious project to date, a title that means the world to us and represents the greatest effort to the entire Eternum Game Studios team. Our plan was launched this September, but after the announcement of Silksong, we are fully aware that our game would not have had the visibility it deserves. Competing with a phenomenon of that scale would not only be unfair to our team's effort, but also to you, the community, who expect to experience this adventure under the best possible conditions. In addition, we don't have all the necessary development kits. Oh, interesting. To ensure simultaneous release on all next-gen platforms. We believe this is the best decision for everyone to step back and bring you Eternal Lucis at the right time. That's why, they're delaying all the way to 2026. Interesting. Okay. We want to take this opportunity to thank Team Cherry. There's no need to wish them luck. We know Silksong will be a success and a masterpiece instead of a rivalry. What we feel is gratitude. Thanks to them, the Metroidvania genre is more alive than ever. Oh, this might be a Metroidvania. Okay, Eternal Lucis. Let's take a look. That would be... Okay, so there's Eternal Noctis. Okay, Eternal Lucis. Here we go. Yeah. Now delayed to 2026, but here's the trailer. Okay. Give me some gameplay. Cool, high budget anime cut. Look at that. Dude, these teams are putting their all into these things. Oh, here we go, gameplay. Okay, yes, all right. So this makes a little bit more sense to be more directly competing with Silksong. 2D, more Castlevania-inspired 2D action platformer Metroidvania. Does look very quality in its own right. Looks very fast. I like that a lot. It's interesting. You know, you don't usually see like a purely humanoid character like this anymore in these kind of games. So I'm used to more like Ori or the Hollow Knight, like being a little bit squat. But yeah, this looks cool. So shout out to Eternum Game Studios and Eternal Lucis. Delaying all the way to 2026 is pretty big, but I guess that means they're going to try to get development kits for Switch 2 and launch Eternal Lucis on Switch 2 as well. So good for them. Good luck. Good luck to Nintendo not really getting a lot of dead kits right now. So, and the final one is Demonschool, coming from publisher Eastbeard Games and Necrosoft, the developer. And what's most interesting about this is it seems that there was maybe a little bit of a disagreement between the devs and the publisher, because the publisher Eastbeard here says their upcoming tactic RPG, Demonschool from Necrosoft, is delayed to November 19th for the exact reason you're thinking. See you then. With 11 years under our belt as an indie publisher, we at Eastbeard are reasonably qualified to say that any point of 2025, on balance, has been or will be as brutal market conditions can get when it comes to releasing a game. Cooler still that we should find out with such short notice that Hollow Knight Silksong will launch just one day after our planned release for Demonschool. We have to remind ourselves that getting visibility for Demonschool is our main goal. Thus, Eastbeard team strongly believes that we would not be doing our game any favors by waiting to water so we can clearly see our blood red. If September period is going to be Silksong's moment, then we need to be elsewhere on the calendar to give Demonschool its own moment to be seen and talked about meaningfully. Now, that's interesting, and it's interesting that a lot of these games are being delayed just a couple weeks. Obviously, Eternal Lucis is a little bit different, but the rest of October, or rest of September into October, even into some of November, is also very busy. I think October is maybe the busiest month for games I've ever seen. And the late part of September also has a lot of big games like Sonic and Silent Hill and Borderlands. So I don't really know. Oh, they're moving it to November 19th. Okay, actually that is kind of outside of that window. I don't really know how much is releasing in mid to late November, so that's actually a pretty good idea to really get out of this glut. We'll see how games like Baby Steps just coming out later in September. Obviously, no, I'm not a human, not actually moving, but we'll see how they fare, given still how people will still be playing Silksong, and there's also other big games coming out in the time period. But to Eastbeard's credit, late November is actually pretty vacant in comparison. So I think that's actually pretty smart. But the interesting thing is that while Eastbeard, the publisher, has made that decision, which ultimately I probably think is a good one, the dev team here, Necrosoft Games, says this was not our choice, but we understand why the choice was made. We aren't mad at Eastbeard, but at the situation. Dropping the GTA of indie games within 2 weeks' notice makes everyone freak out. Eastbeard is being a good partner and paying for the delay. We're sorry this is happening. And here we go. So this is a little look here at October, which I don't think any of these were delayed into October, but really, really, really busy. I mean, you've got not only major game from Sony starting the month, but Battlefield 6 releasing, Pokemon releasing, and then Microsoft, for whatever reason, Keeper on October 17th, Ninja Gaiden 4 on October 21st, and Outer Worlds 2 on October 29th. Like, all of the big three are putting out major games that month. Plants vs. Zombies, Jurassic World, Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines, and then, more indies like Ball Pit, I think it's called, a NASCAR game. So that's gonna be a really, really, really busy time. Oh, and Arc Raiders to close out the month. And October 31st, not put on here, but end of the month is also Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D and Meet of the Hollower. So October is nuts. And so yeah, they're delaying their game. It wasn't the dev team's decision, but they understand why it's happening. To be honest, I think that it's not exactly fair to blame Team Cherry for this, because I think they're just doing what was best for their game, waiting till the right moment to announce, given what the situation the game had been in prior. But I understand the frustration coming from Necrosoft. Like, working on this for a long time, and they're like, all right, we're ready. Oh, we gotta wait a little bit longer. I believe they're also going to be adding, several endings and activities we're going to patch as free update, which will now be available at launch. That's cool. So the game will actually be more content complete when it releases. But let's, before we wrap up, look at a trailer for Demonschool, just so we cover all our bases here. Yeah, man. Okay, tactical RPG, November 19th. Yeah, they're getting out of it. My brain's all fried right now. Pixel art looks awesome on this. Oh, look at these environments. Very expressive characters. I mean, this is a really great lineup of indie games here. I mean, they all look high quality. We've got a shooter. We've got a gambling game. We've got a turn-based RPG. We've got another Metroidvania. So regardless, it's a great time for indies. I really hope that all of these games can get the attention they deserve, because it looks like everyone's been putting a lot of hard work into them. Some games delayed out of the year. Some games just delayed a few weeks. But it's just an interesting time for this to really be happening in the way that it is. And Godspeed to Team Cherry and everyone else around them, and of course, teams like Bloober Team and Konami, and everyone's launching games right now. So I will do my best to cover the games that I can and to give the ones that I care about attention. But yeah, hope everyone enjoyed this. Learned about a couple of new indie games. Maybe might be interested in one or two. Support them if you can. And for everyone else, I will see you next time.